morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our 306 weekly webcast. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way this call works is this is an AMA, like you see on Reddit. You can ask me anything. You can ask me business questions, career questions, investing questions, personal growth questions, anything you want. And my humble goal is to help you take your career, your investment portfolio, your business, your happiness, etc., for personal growth level to the next level. So without further ado, pardon me, let's begin, and please keep typing your questions. Now, before I take your questions, I want to talk about how to hold an effective meeting. Now, a couple of months ago on my YouTube channel, I had Ilya Strebulov, who's the #1 venture capital professor on the planet from Stanford, on the call. And you got to ask him questions. And one thing I talked to him about was how to hold effective meetings and get the best ideas from an idea generation perspective out there. Pardon me. And what he said is the best way to get great ideas from any meeting is to, number one, have the most junior people speak first. And that's crucial because junior employees, they bring a fresh perspective that other people haven't heard about yet. And if senior employees talk first in meetings, then what happens is everybody becomes a victim of groupthink, meaning the junior employees or mid-level employees, either more junior than senior managers there, will not give their opinions. They'll just echo everybody else's opinion. So make it a practice, please, in your business to always have the most junior employees speak first. Another thing that Ilya Strebulov told me, pardon me, my throat's a bit clogged up here. Let me get a little bit of coffee here. Sorry. I'm all good, don't worry. Another thing that Ilya Strebulov taught me when it comes to holding effective meetings is this. When you have a meeting, quite often is to decide whether to do A or B. Okay, tough decisions. Now, if everybody is choosing A, like we know everyone's going to choose A, then what you have to do is at the beginning of the meeting, you need to randomly select one person in the room to choose B and argue for B. And that way you're more intellectually honest about the whole process. Otherwise, what happens is you waste so much time with meetings. And I remember my wife, a couple of years ago for Christmas, I gave her a coffee mug that said, "I just attended another meeting that could have been an email." One more quick thing on venture capital, speaking of Professor Ilya Strebulov. What I do is I release a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, as you know, to teach you about business using different movies like The Big Short, Wall Street, and Billions. And so this week what I did was I published a video on my YouTube channel that tells you all about venture capital. Okay, so it's Venture Capital 101. I explain it from scratch. You can check it out. It's called Shorting a SpaceX Rival and Venture Capital Explained. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Last thing I want to mention before I start taking your questions is if you go to my website, harounmba.com/start, what you can do is you can learn more about how to start a business in 6 months. You can just read this, and the link is below as well, below me right here. All right, let me move on now to your questions, and thank you. Okay. And give me 1 second. This never happens to me, but my my throat's a bit clogged up. Okay, here we go. All right. The older I get, the better I was. Okay, here we go. But I'm all good. Thank you. All right, Shahar, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Ani chotze coffee achshav. Kuban Media, great to see you. SS wrote, I am Suresh Shinde from India. Pleasure to meet you. My question is, how do you calculate the Nifty 50 price options in your options course? Please explain. Yeah, absolutely. So in my options course where I explain options from scratch, what you're going to do, okay, is you're going to go to where you price the options. And let me just maximize this. You can see it here. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to price the options. And then right here, what you're going to do is you're going to enter in the ticker for the Nifty 50. Okay. And there are lots of ETFs for it, kind of like there's an ETF for the S&P 500. and then just follow the rest of the instructions down here, and it'll be very intuitive in terms of how to price that. If you have any questions, let me know. In this course, which is available to my MBA degree program students for free as well, I also teach you using visuals how to price options and also how to value options and analyze them using Greek formulas, as you can see here. All right, let me get back to the next question. Thank you for that. Okay. All right, next up, David wrote, "Hey, Chris, snowy day in Canada. I heard, man. I heard it's raining here right now. But I do miss the snow. And actually in Tahoe, which is a 4-hour drive from where I live, they're getting 5 or 6 feet of snow today." Give me 1 second, please. Thank you. All right, I feel much better than I sound. Don't worry. All right, next up, Frank wrote, "Good morning, Chris. Happy Thursday. Same to you. I can't believe this is week 307 or 306. Jim Culture wrote, "Hi, Chris. Hope you're doing well. I'm taking the CFA Level 1 next Friday, and I'm wondering how you like to finalize prep leading up to a big exam." Yeah, a couple things. Number one, for those of you not familiar with the CFA, it stands for the Certified Financial Analyst Designation. It's a 3-year course you take, and you just take 1 exam per year. Now, and I think it's better than getting an MBA in finance. It's respected on Wall Street. In terms of how to answer any question or almost any question if you don't know the answer, and this is going to help everybody on this call as well. If you have a multiple choice question and there's no numbers involved, I want you to think like a lawyer, and I promise you this will help you to pass exams. And I humbly can pass multiple choice exams without reading the question. Here's how, as long as there's no numbers in it. You got to think like a lawyer. So here's a sample question. What color is this Tesla? And the answers are as follows. A, it's always blue. B, it's never brown. C, it's sometimes yellow. Or D, none of the above. Well, when you think like a lawyer and you answer questions on a multiple choice exam, whether it's the LSAT, the GMAT, etc., even the MCAT sometimes, you have to look for exceptions, right? And lawyers are a pain in the ass, but they look for exceptions. So it's always blue? Well, that's wrong, because if I were to change the lighting in here, it might look a different color, okay? It's never blue is B. Well, it can be blue, right? It looks blue now. C is it's sometimes yellow, or whatever color I mentioned. That's the right answer. Because if you were to change the lighting and shine a really bright yellow light on this, then it could appear yellow. So the bottom line, and D is wrong because D is none of the above, but the bottom line is that you always want to find exceptions when you're writing exams and think like a lawyer. So it's sometimes this, or it can be this. That's the right answer usually. It's always this or never this. Well, if you think like a lawyer, you can find an exception. So best of luck with it. I know there's a lot of quantitative questions on the CFA Level 1, but there's a lot of qualitative as well. When you get to Level 2, there's even more qualitative questions. Best of luck. I recommend using the Schweizer study books as well, which is owned by Kaplan, which is owned by the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos. The Schweizer books, you can get them for $30 used on eBay. That's what I did when I wrote Level 1. And it's so much easier to study that way so you can work smarter and not harder. All right, let's move on now to the next question. All right, next up, Big Mike wrote, "I've tried your courses. I definitely learned so much from them. Thank you. However, I just can't seem to network into consulting. Would an MBA help me get there? Would any MBA do, or would a top program do?" Yeah. So the only time I think you should consider getting an MBA from, an accredited expensive university, which costs $100,000, which I think is a waste of money, is if you've tried so hard by networking to change careers and you can't do it. Now, what I want you to do, and everybody in this call, before considering getting a graduate degree in anything, I want you to, first of all, make an amazing LinkedIn profile, which I teach you in my MBA program from scratch. Second of all, you're going to network. Now, you're going to set up 100 networking meetings. And after doing all 100 meetings, okay, and you can use LinkedIn to set up informational meetings. It's easy. My success rate using LinkedIn to get meetings is always 95%. I don't say that to impress you. Rather, I say it to impress upon the fact I can teach you. But if you do all 100 meetings and you still can't change careers, then consider getting that graduate degree. And if you want to learn more about how to network to get a job, customers, raise money, etc., you can always go to HarounMBA.com and then scroll down to the bottom and you can get this book here for free. Yeah. Best of luck with that. Yeah. But the problem is, if you want to get a job in consulting or any industry, the reality is you have a 1 in 250 chance of getting that job. So who gets the job? Well, it's almost always somebody that knows someone at the company. So that's what you have to do, man. You got to create a great LinkedIn profile, which I teach you in my MBA program. Then you got to set up networking meetings. And you got to meet with 30 or 40 people at each company you want to work at. And you always want to bond before business. You know, a big rookie mistake when you go into meetings, when you meet somebody for the first time, is you jump right into business. Don't do that. Business is about people, and product knowledge comes second. Relationships are more important than product knowledge. So for the first 10 minutes of any meeting, okay, an informational meeting, an interview, a sales meeting, whatever it is, you're going to talk about what you have in common. Okay, you're going to bond with them. And if you don't know what to bond with them about, that's how Canadians say about, then what you can do is you can go to their X profile or Instagram profile and see who they follow. If they follow athletes in a particular sport that you like football, that was the most boring Super Bowl game I've ever seen on Sunday, then you can talk about football. If they follow musicians or entertainers that you also like, you can bring that up as well. Just do it in a casual way. You know, you don't want to say, I was stalking your profile and I saw you also like, I don't know, Madonna. Yeah, so bring it up in a casual way. You can also read the newspaper that day just to get ready so you can talk about current events. In fact, every day before I do my calls, I always do this in the shower. Alexa, Wall Street Journal news.
From the Wall Street Journal. I can say to my
Alexa,
new Samsung Galaxy.
Stop. You work smarter, not harder, and you can multitask that way. Yeah. So try to network as much as you can to get the job of your dreams. If you can't get the job of your dreams by networking, and I think you can, then consider getting an MBA or some sort of graduate degree. Yeah. And if you have follow-up questions, by all means, please let me know, and thank you. All right. All right, next up, Manuel wrote, enjoy your videos, Chris. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Frank Good Times. He wrote, do you have tips on getting started on social platforms? I'm helping a friend start on YouTube, and we're lost on how and where to begin. Thanks, yeah. Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I hired Daryl Eves, who wrote a book with Mr. Big on YouTube. Read his book first. Just search for Daryl Eves' YouTube book. That'll help you. And I learned a ton from him on how to make incredible videos. Okay, now, when you create social media content, it's very tough because I watch my kids. They're a bit older now, but I watch my kids using TikTok, Insta, Reels, whatever. They get very, very bored very fast. So if it's not entertaining the first couple seconds, they'll swipe away. So what you have to do is you have to try to keep the attention level. Now, what I do, and I recommend everybody do here, is I use OpenAI's Sora product for B-roll. Let me show you what this means. It's free, or you can just have the basic OpenAI subscription to do it. Okay, so let me show you what this means. So in this video I made here, okay, and this was the one I posted last week. I record my own videos, I script everything myself, and I also do all the B-roll and editing, okay? A lot of these videos you'll see here, I got directly from OpenAI. So I did a search in OpenAI and I said, show me hippies in the 60s at Berkeley. And it showed it to me, and it creates it fast. For this scene, I said to OpenAI, to Sora, create a video that shows short-term versus long-term. And then it gets a little bit difficult, though, because for some reason it shows sometimes 6 fingers, as well as the hair gets all crazy, even worse than this terrible hair dye here. At least I'm honest. So let me show you how to do this. Okay, and this is great for B-roll. So you're going to go to Sora.com, okay? You're going to log into your OpenAI account as well. And these are the videos I just showed you. And it's really, really easy. So I wrote right here, and you want to select, and I think I might be covering this down below, I'm sorry, but you want to select 16:9, unless it's vertical. And then you want to select 10 seconds, and then show me 4 different videos. Okay. And what you do, and it still makes spelling mistakes, which is crazy. AI is so smart, it still makes mistakes when it comes to spelling. You enter in a prompt, right? So, and it will correct you if you make mistakes. Like I made a mistake here. I said, stressed out Wall Street. I meant to say Wall Street investor forecasting financial statements using a spreadsheet. So this dude here is stressed out, as you can see right here. What I love about this is no longer do I have to pay Adobe a gazillion dollars for the B-roll, okay? And it takes about 40 seconds at a minimum for it to render this stuff here. So I was trying to explain to people what D&O insurance is, and never join a board, by the way, unless you get director and officer insurance. Otherwise, shareholders can sue you. I was trying to explain that. And the only one I could pick was here because it made mistakes in all the others right here, right? And so I just wrote here D&O insurance, and it made it from scratch. Right here, I wanted to show a really mean board meeting. So I typed mean board meeting here. These are mean people, apparently. I wanted to show a capitalist pig. I'm a capitalist. It came up with that. It's pretty cool, eh? There's so much you can do. And this is where I said 1960s hippies loving and sharing black and white old film. And it created this here. Then what you do is you just go here and you download it. That's it. It's that simple. That simple. And let's look at what other people have created with Sora here. It's amazing. And people will write a lot more details in their prompts as well. Like, for example, oh my God, it's the cutest bunny I've ever seen. So somebody wrote a microscopic, unbelievably fluffy baby bunny and a lot more stuff. And it came up with that as well. Now, this is absolutely terrifying Hollywood. Okay. Hollywood is terrified of this. And the reason is because we know it's just a matter of time until we can use AI to have actors that you don't have to overpay. And the second that Sora was released in beta, it's now out in production. You can use it today. The second Sora was released in beta a year or two ago. Tyler Perry, who makes great movies, he freaked out and he canceled his $1 billion CapEx expansion on one of his studios in Atlanta just because of that. So you are now the media, as Elon Musk says. I don't want to get controversial mentioning Elon. Yeah. So that's what I would do. Now, in terms of creating social media content in general, I want you all to become a thought leader. It's like the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. Okay. So what that means is this. If you write amazing articles, one per week on LinkedIn, it's going to take a little while and most of the competition is going to give up. It's a marathon, not a sprint. What's going to happen is people are going to think of you as the thought leaders. You're faking it until you make it, sort of. Then what will happen is the media will approach you as well. And this is what happened with me as well. So here's what I recommend doing. Okay. And I'm going to teach you something that I learned from Nintendo. So Nintendo is brilliant. Nintendo is the oldest tech company in history. But what Nintendo always does is they repurpose their content. For example, the older 8-bit, 16-bit, and 64-bit games like Mario games get repurposed on the Wii, Wii U, Switch, and Switch 2 coming out later this year. Really smart. So I want you to use the exact same analogy as follows. So when I worked in venture capital, before I quit to start this business full-time in 2016, what I did was I wrote one article every single week for about 2 years on my LinkedIn profile. It's really easy. Don't ever make articles more than 600 words and never have more than 3 sentences per paragraph. Then once I wrote, 100 articles roughly over 2 years, I took the articles that got the most likes and I put it at the beginning of this book. I repurposed it. And I'm going to show you this book template you can download right now. I don't ask for your email or anything so that you can write your book. So let me go here. And this will help you in your informational meetings because I promise you your competition will not do this. So go to harounmba.com/ all lowercase, write book. Okay, right here. And what you can do is just download the book template here. All right. I'm doing this in real time. I lost 5 viewers, so I'm going to move on. So after you write your articles, then each one of your articles in LinkedIn can become your script for a YouTube video, which you can repurpose as well on Instagram, as well as TikTok, etc. That's what I do. Then each of these chapters of mine became a course, right? So this is kind of like U 2.0, the business plan of what you're going to be doing next. Now, when it comes to social media content, you got to be consistent, okay? And you can't fear failure. And as Salvador Dali once said, if you strive for perfection, you'll never reach it. And Reid Hoffman is the co-founder of LinkedIn, brilliant man. He said, if you release your product when it's ready, you've already missed the market. So get your stuff out there, okay? And don't worry what people say about you. You're Teflon. And remember that unjustified criticism is a disguised compliment. If people are not criticizing you on social media, you're not successful enough. So anyway, run with that and read the comments as well. So for me, when I first started doing these weekly calls, I thought all people want to ask me about was finance stuff. Every now and then I get a question about, I don't know, personal growth. And in the comments, people were like, hey, I kind of like that stuff. So let the market guide you. If you have additional questions about setting up, the startup of you, so to speak, when it comes to social media, please let me know. And I recommend that everybody start YouTubing today. And the reason I say that with confidence is because within a couple of years, and you just saw Sora, but within a couple of years, artificial general intelligence, meaning AGI, will become a reality. And by that point, people are going to be learning from social media icons that don't exist. So you've got a 2 or 3 year window of opportunity at this point to put your flag in the sand, so to speak, and establish the brand of you. Start today. And I teach that as well in my MBA program. All right. All right, next up, we got Peter. Oh, and always publish at the same time as well. Be consistent. Like I'm consistently bad, but this is week 306, right? So remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. All right. Next question is from Peter, who wrote, hey, Chris, what will be the effect of DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, if they disband investment regulatory bodies? Will we see a return of risky investment types that led to the 2008 GFC, global financial crisis? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so the Trump administration believes in deregulation, and that's why financial services stocks are up a lot in the past 6 months. Robinhood is up 50% year to date. But I don't think that they're crazy enough to get rid of securities and exchange laws. They wouldn't go that far. Because what would happen is confidence in the American markets would go down a lot, and people wouldn't want to invest as much. The great thing about the American stock market system is that transparency builds trust. And America has more lawyers per capita. It sucks. It's true. It is what it is, though. Has more lawyers per capita than any other country in the world. And whenever you read SEC filings, and this is a case study for my MBA degree program on the Facebook IPO, whenever you read SEC filings, they're written by investment wankers, as well as lawyers, right? So every risk is disclosed. Now, I think what's going to happen soon is the Trump administration is going to put in some regulations on cryptocurrencies, and that's a good thing, right? And I know that Trump is pro-crypto, a little bit very pro NFTs. I'm not going to go there. But I think that what he's going to do is he's going to have the SEC regulate cryptocurrencies. And that's a good thing because before you invest in cryptocurrencies, you'll actually be able to get an S1 document like this eventually. They'll explain all the risks when it comes to cryptos. And I believe that most cryptocurrencies are an absolute scam. I publicly disclosed the cryptos I owned years ago, which I haven't sold, I'll never sell, including Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. Do your own research, please. But most cryptos are an absolute scam. And in my MBA degree program, I teach you how to make S1 documents like this for cryptos as well. Yeah. All right. Hey, Ted, how are you? Okay. Eileen wrote, hey, it's Eileen here. Oh, you got a new YouTube handle. How are you? You wrote, good morning. Trying to catch the first part of your webcast. Thanks for sharing your wisdom with everyone. You're most welcome. It was a pleasure meeting you a couple of years ago at my annual graduation networking event. And for those students of mine that are gold, platinum, or diamond, this year on September 27th, I've got a 3-day networking event where I'm also going to be teaching you stuff live and doing one-on-ones with all of you. In the Bay Area, we're going to go to Napa Valley as well. Again, if you're a gold or platinum member, you can get more details. Let me show you where to go to sign up. Okay, so you go to my website and then go to MBA login. And the second item here is called in-person graduation networking details for gold, platinum, and diamond students. And I hope to see you again. Yeah. And bring your husband Norbert next time and your 2 kids. Okay, moving on to Sean, who wrote, I have a bachelor's in business administration, so if I start the silver program, do I have to go through all the material or can I skip some basic sections? How do I go through a program if I have some background? Yeah. So if you know finance and accounting, I still want you to watch all the finance and accounting lectures because I train you from scratch. Okay, and we have a lot of students in the program that have MBAs from top 10 schools, and they learn more in the first 30 days than they do in their entire program. So what I do, and this is an elective coming to the MBA program soon, what I do is I teach you how to analyze financial statements from scratch. We work smarter and not harder. I teach you new ways to do it as well, leveraging AI. So you enter in the company name here, then you enter in your AI prompt level right here. You can do 8th grade, which is my maturity level, or you can do professional hedge fund level, etc. Okay. And then what I eventually do is I help you to create a 1-page report and a massive detailed write-up. Okay. I do the same thing for real estate. I have a commensurate process here for helping you analyze any investment before you invest in real estate. And what comes out of that is a 1-pager, as well as a massive, massive business plan as well. I'm a firm believer that failing to plan is plan to fail. And so this is what the real estate report looks like right here. Okay, it's a massive report. And I provide you with tons of other templates as well to analyze stocks and many other securities. So I recommend watching all the finance and accounting lectures. Now, my MBA degree program, which I launched last decade, I spent over $1 million on it. It's been so much fun. It's been life-changing for me when one teaches to learn. But the way the MBA degree program works and is there's 100 classes, okay, that are more than 3 hours long each. And in the 100 classes, there's a short quiz after each class. And in order to pass the MBA degree program, all you have to do is get over 50% on half of those 100 quizzes. And I set it up that way because not everybody wants to learn everything about how to start a company, how to invest your personal money, crypto, stocks, marketing, etc. So you can check it out here if you want. Thanks. All right. Okay, next up, Ted wrote, I need help. Sure. I've spent a lot of time child-proofing my house, but the kids still get the kids still get in. What more can I do? Dude, I love your humor. Okay, please, more of this, more of this. Dad humor works. And if you meet me in real life, if you come to the event this September, you'll see I'm a tiny man. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I was out to dinner with a buddy and another couple, and he just got over a big health crisis, and his wife was there, and he had a glass of wine, and he said, honey, you were with me when I was in the hospital every day. Honey, you were with me when I lost my job and when I was going through difficult times. Sweetheart, I have one thing to say to you. You're bad luck. Sorry. Okay, moving on here. I'm having fun. All right, next up, Frank wrote, when providing information online, like teaching or conducting lives like this, are there any legal issues to be concerned with? Thanks. Yeah, you can't repurpose somebody else's content unless you're doing it for educational purposes. Okay, so I'll show you. So when I do these billions videos here, okay, and I'm doing the Big Short very, very soon. But when I do these billions videos right here, the way it works is you can do, little snippets of 10 seconds roughly, right? And this is an older one. My hair was cray-cray then. You can do 10 or 15 seconds or so. And as long as you're not, throwing them under the bus and, making up lies about people, then that's cool. Now, you can't use AI to create images of real people. So I'm not sure if you guys saw what happened. Well, Kanye had those disgusting tweets. Guys, he needs to go to the hospital fast. And then somebody created an AI video that had Mark Zuckerberg, Steven Spielberg, as well as a lot of other Jewish actors, basically saying the heck with you, Kanye. And then Scarlett Johansson was one of those actresses included. And you can read her tweets, Instagrams, whatever. She said, this is very dangerous. You can't use somebody else's likeness, right? In fact, if you go to Sora or ChatGPT, or if you go to Sora and you say, make a video of Donald Trump hugging Joe Biden, it won't do it, right? So there's a lot of copyright issues you have to be careful about there. All right. And then Ted wrote, speaking of snow, I think 1 or 2 blizzards a year is good for the soul. It toughens you up and makes you aware of nature's power. Yes, and I miss the seasonal changes. I think depression is higher in climates where there's no change. Yeah. So I grew up in Canada. I do miss the seasonal changes. All right, next up, Boss wrote, hi, Chris. I love the MBA program. Thank you. Do you recommend the Series 7? Yes, if you want to work for the sell side on Wall Street. Now, if you join a big firm like a Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citigroup, in the training program, they're going to pay for you to get the Series 7. But if you pay for it yourself ahead of time and put it on your LinkedIn profile or resume, I think it does help you. Yeah, and the Series 7 is basically a review of first-year MBA school finance. Yeah, it's not that hard. And use the tips I mentioned earlier today in terms of multiple choice questions if there's no numbers and if you're stuck. Yeah. And when I was at Goldman Sachs in the training program, they gave us 2 days to study for it, which was cray-cray. But, you set a tough deadline date, you can get it done. Elon Musk said that if you set a deadline date of 3 years, you got it done in 3 years. If you set a deadline date of 3 days or 3 weeks, you'll get it done in 3 weeks. It's so true. Okay, Newfonte wrote, do you invest in crypto at all? Do you think assets will be tokenized? I do. As part of the blockchain, eventually things will be tokenized, including real estate, physical art, etc. And it'll be kind of like a custodial service, kind of like Melon is on Wall Street, where it'll be like a digital certificate saying you have ownership of something. That's what the blockchain was made for. In terms of me investing in cryptos, as I mentioned earlier, I own 4 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. Yeah. Always do your own research, though, please. Never have more than 5% of your liquid net worth in cryptocurrencies, please, because most are a scam. Yeah. All right. And then Wilco wrote, Sora is not available to me. Yes, for those of you overseas, like in England, for example, and you can't access Sora, what you can do is you can use a VPN and access Sora. So the VPN I use, and I like to pay for them. I don't like to use open source free ones because they could be buggy. The one I've been using for years is called ExpressVPN. It's tough for you guys to see here, but I can turn it on and I can make it look like I'm in different regions of the world. So right now, my iPhone thinks I'm browsing from France. And for ExpressVPN, if you subscribe to this, it's $10 a month. It's worth it. But you get 5 instances of it to use on your desktop, laptop, these things, etc. And I learned about it from Marquise Brownlee, who is my favorite YouTube vlogger, and he's very reputable too. Okay. All right. Next up, Brandon wrote, hey, Chris, as somebody without a 4-year degree, and I'm 37 years old, and I'm a provider of a wife and kids with sales experience, how would one break into a new career path? I'm trying to keep up with the bills. Thank you. Yeah. So what I would say is set up a ton of informational meetings. Okay. I promise you, you don't need a 4-year undergraduate degree to get a lot of great jobs out there. So if you set up enough informational meetings with people that work at companies you want to work at, you will get a job eventually. That much I promise you. And if you want, you can set up a call with me. And this goes for anybody. You guys want to set up a call with myself or my team to learn more about this. Just go to my website, which is HarounMBA.com, and then click here, MBA FAQs. And then down at the bottom, I think it's on every page I have, you can schedule a Zoom call with me, and I will help you. I will walk through walls for you. And in my programs, all my programs, there's a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. In terms of my return rates, I have a 1% return rate. I will help you. The bottom line is set up tons of informational meetings at companies you want to work at. And I promise you, I put my reputation on the line. You will get that job if you keep it up. It's like dating. And I suck at dating because my wife is way out of my league. But it's a numbers game. So if you set up 100 informational meetings, I promise you, you will get that coveted job. You just have to have the guts to follow through with that as well. And Michael Jordan, he's brilliant, obviously. Give me 1 second. I had his poster here. Oh, here it is. I found it. This is worth the wait. Michael Jordan said this: I failed over and over again in my career, and that's why I succeed. You only have to be right in business one time. Okay. And for my kids, speaking of kids, when they first started trying to walk, they each fell down like 100 times each. And I didn't say to them, son, maybe this whole walking thing isn't for you. Right. So you only have to be right in business one time. So network like crazy. It's the most important skill set in business. They don't teach you that in business school, but I do teach you that at the very start of my MBA degree program if you want to check it out. Yeah. And don't ever think that age is going to hurt you guys, please. Do you know that the average life expectancy today versus the 1950s is 26 years longer? So although I'm a 53-year-old man-child, I'm actually 27. Okay. And there's a lot of people on this call that will live to 150. I promise you. You can start over anytime you want. Let me help you. Okay. And if you want, Brandon, if you want to have a side hustle, I recommend online teaching. It's the best gig out there. And being an online teacher is better than being a doctor or a lawyer. Because if you're a doctor or a lawyer, you have one customer, meaning one patient at a time. It's not scalable. If you're an online teacher, I have 2 million students on all platforms. I have paying students to every single country in the world that watch my courses 24 hours a day. And I remember when I started doing it as a side hustle when I worked in VC, just for fun. I told my dad, I was like, Dad, you're not going to believe this. Last night I was sleeping, I made $20. And my dad this is where I get my dad humor from. He said, well, Chris, why did you wake up then? But everybody has something to teach. I promise you, even for those of you that are video gamers like my kids and me. If you play Fortnite, you know this guy Ninja who makes a fortune every year streaming. He started on Udemy, actually, teaching how to use Fortnite. Everybody has a skill to teach. I promise you. Share your skills with me right here, and I'll tell you what you can teach, and I'll show you examples of people that make 6 or 7 figures a year that do it. Don't buy any equipment. Just use what you already have. And I explain exactly how to set up a great Zoom setup in my MBA degree program. And a great Zoom setup can do more for your career than a nice Italian suit might. Yeah. Okie dokie. All right. Ali, oh my goodness, it's been a while. How are you? You wrote my mentor, and I wrote Chris, please. You wrote Chris, please in brackets. You know me too well. Greetings from Zambia. Great to see you again. I have a question regarding your statement. Sure. You usually say you will never sell stocks in Bitcoin you own, but what's the point of holding forever? Yeah. So I want to impress upon you the fact that you got to think very long term when you're investing. Warren Buffett, whenever he buys a stock, he always tells himself, I'm assuming the market's going to be closed for 10 years. Now, of course, he knows the market's not going to be closed for 10 years, but that's how long-term focused he is. He said the longer the view, the wiser the intention. And the insanity of the New York Stock Exchange is, as Mr. Buffett said, the New York Stock Exchange is the only store where consumers sell stuff and it goes on sale. I want you to think long-term. And we've all been victimized of making the cardinal sin in investing, which is this. It's happened to all of us, myself included. You own a stock. You love it. It goes down a bit, you freak out, and today it's up here. So if you're not sure where to put your money, what I do, and do your research first, is I put my money in the S&P 500, ticker VOO, because I humbly believe that the S&P 500 is going to be up 15 to 20% on average for the next couple of decades. Yes, there will be big down years as well. But given the fact that we have AI, I'm seeing it in real time. Companies are cutting so many expenses, which goes right to the bottom line. And if you're not assuming PE multiple expansion, the stock will keep going up as earnings grow. And if all you did was you took $22,000 a year, which is tough to do every year, and you put it in your 401k, and you put it in the S&P 500, then in 20 years, without even thinking about it, you'd have over $1 million. If your spouse did it as well, in 20 years, you'd have over $2 million. If you did an educational savings account, which is about 15 grand per year for your kids, from the age of 0 up to 18 when they go to college if they want to go, then that's 700 grand per kid. 2.1 million plus the $2 million for you and your spouse, 4.1 million, plus the upside with respect to owning real estate. Now I'm going to show you something crazy. All right. So I'm going to go to my complete real estate course and I'm going to show you a life-changing exercise here. Okay. Let's say that you rented and you paid $3,000 per month, okay, for 50 years, okay? All right, so $3,000 per month for 50 years. This is going to blow you away, man. So 3,000 times 12 times 50 years right here, okay? So that's over $1 million right here, say 1.8 million bucks. Now, if you did not rent and you owned a house and rental properties, then your return longer term, including all the incredible depreciation and interest rate expense deductions you get, could be 15% per year on average. The math adds up. Watch this. At 15%, $3,000 per month for 50 years equals $413 million. That's how I want you to think about investing in the markets. So if you invested $20,000 per year, okay, $20,000 per year. Actually, I'm not going to do the math, but if you put $20,000 per year, I already mentioned it, at a 15% return, you'll have over $1 million bucks. You can run the math if you want as well. Holy senior moment there. Okay, hold on a second. It's fun doing these live things though. All right, let's move on to the next question. And it's my goal that all my students, all my clients, that within 10 to 15 years, you make more money from your real estate investment properties than you do from your base salary. You can do it. It's a lot easier than you think. So what you need to do is this. So I own a bunch of investment properties, okay, a bunch here in Canada as well. So this room right here, okay, when I first moved, it's raining outside, when I first moved into this house in 2014, this room here, and I live in a place called Hillsborough, California. This room here was actually an Airbnb room. We rented it out. And I rented another room as well with an entrance to the outside so it's secure. And that more than paid the mortgage on my house. And I own a bunch of rental properties where I put down 20%. And the monthly rent pays is way more than the monthly mortgage. And the great thing about owning investment properties, it doesn't matter what country you live in. You can deduct the interest, okay, on your mortgage, right? So it makes your tax burden lower. And you can deduct depreciation on the land itself over 29 years in many countries. And the brilliant thing about this is that most people in the United States, for example, that are extraordinarily wealthy, they own tons of land and tons of rental properties. And the reason they do is because very rich people, wealthy people, they pay much less in taxes than the rest of us do. And I remember back in 2016 during the televised debate between Hillary Clinton as well as Donald Trump, Hillary made fun of Donald by saying, "You don't really pay taxes though." And, you know, he's pretty transparent, right? Love him or hate him, he's transparent. And transparency tends to build trust. But he said, yeah, of course I don't, because I get to use depreciation. So what depreciation does for you for rental properties is it lowers your tax bill materially. So everybody needs to invest in real estate, please, please. And if you're looking for your first house to buy or second house to buy as a primary residence, what I want you to do is this. I want you to see if you can set up Airbnb, like there's a room like this studio here. And I even built a door on the side of my house for another Airbnb room. Okay. You want to look at the local municipal laws to see if you can Airbnb. And then you buy the house. And then you Airbnb 1 or 2 rooms to pay for the mortgage. Okay. Then you save money. And then you buy investment properties within 10 to 15 years or so. This works. This is how you make FU money. I promise you. And I want you all to hire an accountant. Don't do your own taxes. Doing your own taxes is like doing surgery on yourself. Accountants exist because the tax laws change all the time. They're changing right now with the new administration in the United States. And they will hopefully keep you out of trouble. And they will minimize the amount of money that you're going to pay in tax. Now, it's my goal for all my students to start their own companies as well. It's the only way to make insane money. And I won't let you start a company until you write a business plan. Failing to plan is plan to fail. And in my MBA degree program, this is the business plan template we go through. Okay. I have you write everything about the company you're starting. Okay. Including the financials, which I teach you from scratch. This all feeds into a business plan as well as investor slides. Okay. The probability of you making an insane amount of money if you start your own company is materially higher if you create a business plan. Again, I don't let my students start a company without writing a full business plan first. Yeah. And if you make, let's say you make $100,000 working for somebody else. Well, if you work for yourself and you make 100 grand, it's really, and I'm going to exaggerate here, it's really closer to 200 grand. Because your business, and talk to your accountant first, can pay for a lot of stuff, like your car, your computers, this room. And this room right here, actually, and I'm fully transparent, but this room right here, let me do a nice Canadian background. This room right here, my company rents from me. You can do this. And you get R&D tax credits as well, even with online teaching. Yeah, okay. But I want you guys to all start your own company. It's never too late. And my biggest nightmare for my students is you have trouble getting out of bed when you're really, really old. And you have trouble getting out of bed because you work for a schmuck that pays you this much money to make their dreams become a reality. And I'm going to swear now, I rarely do, so earmuffs or mute me. There's nothing worse than spending the rest of your life being someone else's bitch. And what inspires me to do what I do is to help you live your life on your own terms. And the only way to really do that is to start your own company. And you can start a business on the side confidentially. And once it starts to scale, then you can say, see you, but I wouldn't want to be to your company, and leave. And the way you know when to quit to run your company full time is when your 6-month trailing revenue is greater than your annual salary. And I say 6 months trailing because business is cyclical. If you annualize just December, which is usually a big month, it's Q4, then that's not realistic. And you and I both know that if your 6 months trailing revenue is greater than your annual salary, you're probably going to quit if your 4 months is half of your annual salary. You know what I'm getting at? Yeah. The tax benefits are great. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Give me a second here to catch up, guys. Thanks. And what I've started to do, I was watching the Super Bowl and I saw this product called Circle. I don't know how to spell it, but they have flavored water, right? Which helps you drink more water. Instead of getting that, what I did was I just put powder in this and I'm trying to make it a bit sweeter. It says 10 calories to make me drink more every day. Okay. All right. All right, next question is Sean wrote, do you read through all of the 8Ks or do you run a bot that gets necessary information for you? No, I read them all. But I do have a process where you can use AI to analyze financial statements, okay? And this is an elective course that's coming out for my MBA degree program students later on in Q1, okay? So what I have you do is I have you enter in details, and these are just the case studies we do here. But I have you enter in details directly from Sora. ChatGPT is bring your own AI right here. And everything gets analyzed for you. And eventually there's a massive report, right? And this is all linked. See right here. And then also a detailed report to help you understand if you should invest in a company. And a lot of this here is based on the 10K. Because when it comes to the 10K, meaning the annual report, there's so much more than the 8K. Because there's footnotes, etc. And this is just one of the many templates I created and I provide to my students so you can work smarter and not harder. Yeah. All right. Manas from Calcutta, how are you? Manas wrote, good morning, my dear mentor. Chris, please. Hope all is well. A lot happened this week. Let's go sit if you want to. You'll still be the same macho teacher as always. Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you as well at 10 a.m. today in just over an hour for our 1 hour weekly Zoom call just for silver students. Yeah. Okay. And some people ask me, what does that call look like? So if you're a silver MBA student, there's 1 hour every single week you get forever, even after you're done with the program, to ask me questions. Let me see if I can show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go to YouTube Studio here. We do it every week from 10 to 11. If you're a platinum student or gold or diamond student, you get 3 hours every week with me as well. So let me go here to live, and I'll go to last week's. And I'll show everybody Manas as well. So this here was last week's. Okay. All right. So you can ask me any question you want. It's a little bit less formal as well. Here it is here, and let me change the settings here so you guys can see it. 1080. Yeah. Yeah. So I have students from Canada. That's Manas, everybody, who's my brother from another mother. Students from England, Netherlands, Ohio, all over the world. You guys can ask me questions about anything you want. Okay. And for those of you that signed up for the Silver MBA degree program, you can always go to the first lecture of your MBA degree program in order to access that weekly 1 hour call. To learn more about the MBA program, go to harounmba.com. and then go down here to MBA FAQs. And underneath me here, there's a blue button in the corner, and you can always click that to set up a call with my team. I've got monthly payment plans as well. Silver, you can get it for as low as $99 a month. No contracts, cancel anytime. Okay. Let me get back to the real reason we're here, which is to answer questions. All right. And so Manas wrote, a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum. How is that possible? India exports a lot too. Canada and China supplies most steel. With bullying small countries, is that a way to win? Yeah. So it's going to impact Canada more than other countries. And so the first and third biggest exporters of steel to the United States are Canada and then Mexico. Right. So it's going to hurt Canada more. Trump did this during his first term as well. I don't think it was 25%. It was a little bit lower than that. But what he's trying to do is protect the American economy. And also encourage international companies to open factories in America to hire Americans. Yeah. So when it comes to negotiating, usually in a negotiation, one party, and for those of you listening on the podcast, I'm going to put my hand on the left side and on the right side. Usually when people are negotiating, one party says, I want this. Another party says, I want this. And they meet in the middle. With Trump, one party says this, and my right hand is going way, way further to the right. The other party says this, and they end up meeting right here, right? Love him or hate him, he's the best deal maker on the planet. It's true. And what he does sometimes, he asks for exaggerated things in order to get what he wants. So he got what he wants. He already did it. So, earlier this year, he said he's going to put 25% tariffs on all Canadian and Mexican imports. Well, 2 Mondays ago, he basically said, okay, we'll wait another 30 days. But what he got in the meantime was this, which is awesome. He got the Canadian government to put 10,000 troops on the border to stop the illegal exportation of fentanyl and other drugs. And the Mexican government did the exact same thing on the southern border. So he got what he wanted. And I'm glad that happened. I'll tell you why. Millions of people are dying every year from fentanyl. And I've had people very close to me pass away from this. It's a terrible drug. It's an epidemic. And by Trump doing what he's doing, he's saving lives. Okay. Now, when it comes to setting tariffs that are really, really high in small countries, that's not fair as well. And I do have a big heart for that. Yeah. And I promise you, if you haven't had a loved one or somebody close to you die from opioids or fentanyl, it could easily happen in the next year or two. And if you think they're doing drugs, they are. Do an intervention immediately, please. All right. Okay, and then New wrote, do you miss Billions as much as I do? The TV show, I do. I do, except I liked it more when Bobby was on all the time. And apparently they're doing spin-offs as well. Yeah. And actually the writers of Billions reached out to me, one of the co-founders of it, saying that he likes what I do. And tons of people that work on the show have also sent me comments as well saying, oh, cool, I understand this now. Yeah. All right. And yes, I will do a video on every single episode. I'm right now at season 3, episode 5. All right, next up, Eileen wrote, I'm still working my way through your complete options course. I'm carving out time to really take in the information. I started as a guest pass on Thinkorswim, and I'm applying the strategies on paper. Excellent. Yeah. So if anybody wants to invest in options, I want you to practice first, please. For 6 months, you can use all my materials here. Okay, I teach you how to invest in 35 different option strategies. I'm a very visual person, as you can tell. This is an iron condor. This here is a front spread with calls. I don't know why, but hi there. Yeah. But take your time with it, please. And don't ever sell, meaning underwrite or short options. Because what happens is you can lose way more money than you invested if you get randomly assigned, which I talk about in the course. For those of you in my MBA degree program, you can learn more about options by going to FA44. That's Finance and Accounting Semester 4, Class 4. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. Next up, Trader Allende wrote, I hope you are well. I am. Thanks. Hope you're doing well. Are there any differences between the Udemy MBA course and the ones on your website? Yeah, the Udemy MBA course is 7.5 hours. And the one on my platform, my website, is about 500 hours. Plus, you get access to weekly calls with me and so much more, and one-on-one coaching. And if you want to learn more about it, just go to HarounMBA.com. Yeah, thanks. I think the Udemy one has sold 500,000 copies. Yeah. All right. Okay, Manas wrote, Elon in the Oval Office, getting 400 million of deals, but left-leaning countries are dumping Tesla more and more, including pension funds. Is Elon playing with fire with Tesla? Is it the reason for his existence? Yeah. So a couple things about Elon Musk. This is controversial. So Elon Musk, last summer, he spent about $250 million of his own money to help the Trump campaign win in swing states, particularly Pennsylvania. His net worth since then has gone up 560 times. Just the incremental change to $140 billion, right? And it was a brilliant hedge on his part too, because if Democrats won, that's better for EV. If Republicans win, that's worse for EV. So $250 million is nothing as an investment for him. Now, I do think his heart is in the right place when it comes to the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. I really do. There is so much wasteful spending going on right now. What worries me, and I watched the entire press conference with his adorable son in the Oval Office the other day. You can check it out on YouTube if you want to. His son stole the show. What I do worry about, though, is that too many people are going to lose their jobs, which is, of course, going to hurt the unemployment rate, right? But I think it's fiscally responsible to trim the fat from the budget. You know, there's hundreds of billions of dollars every year going to people that don't have Social Security numbers. So there's nothing wrong with that. Plus, the debt the United States has is not sustainable in the long run. So I like what he's doing. Yeah. All right. Hey, Vinny. All right, moving on to Prakash, who wrote, Chris, hi, Chris. I'm a first generation graduate job hunting. Nice. The complete job interview resume LinkedIn course would be a huge help. Any way you can offer it free to students, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah. I'm so sorry I can't. I do have to run a business. Thanks. Yeah. And I'm hiring my first salesperson today, actually, this afternoon. Yeah. If this person accepts. There's 2 people, actually, that I'm about to hire. Yeah. And what I do with my money, a lot of it, humbly, is, I build schools in Africa. Right. So I've done Rwanda, as you guys know, a couple of years ago. Kenya's in the works now. I'm going to build 1,000 schools in Africa in my lifetime. And the cost might be $100,000 per school if we do it right. So that means $100 million. I have to scale my business. It's my purpose, my raison d'être. It's not money. Okay. All right. Dane wrote, my first 75 years has been great. Excellent. I can't wait to create a whole new reality for the next 75. Amen to that, brother. Yeah, I love it. And many of us are going to live to 150. Yeah. It's good to be alive. All right, moving on to Manas, who wrote, how do you achieve mental peace and tranquility when in your 20s, if you ever failed, which you rarely did, I did, yeah, in your illustrious career, yeah. So for me, we tend to worry too much about shit we can't control. Okay. Sorry for swearing, but I want you to remember this. Focus on what you can change. And there's a lot of great quotes about this. Dale Carnegie, who wrote a great book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Please read it. Dale Carnegie said, it's not work that kills us, it's worry. Winston Churchill said, I once met a man on his deathbed who talked about all the problems he had in his life, none of which came true. I'm going to switch over to my GTA background now. So we tend to worry too much. And things are never as bad as you think. I promise you. And I'm a religious man. And, there's only one God and lots of great religions. But I believe that if I worry too much, then I'm questioning my faith. God always has a plan, right? Always. And you might find that you've failed in your life, but you haven't. Right? Those aren't stumbling blocks or roadblocks. Those are stepping stones. You just don't understand it right now. But you're going to look back years from now and see those failures as a turning point for you. And if there are people watching right now, and I say this with love in my heart, If there are people watching right now that are frustrated in your job, I say good, with love in my heart. I want you to embrace that frustration and get a better job where you make more money, or better yet, start your own company. And that's why I'm here to help you do that. Don't stress about the small stuff. Don't worry about anything. Enjoy every day. Don't you want to be happy? And the most miserable existence is to think this: I'm going to work my ass off my entire life so I can retire and enjoy 10 years when I'm old. F that. Live for today, man. Enjoy every day. And don't worry about tomorrow. Everything will work, I promise you. All right. And I have a YouTube video on that I published recently if you want to watch it. Just go to my go to my YouTube channel, go to videos, and it's this one here called How to Stop Worrying. I poured my heart into this one. A lot of good video, fun video editing. You can check it out if you want to. Okay. Hakuna Matata. Okay, next up, Vinny wrote, Chris, this is my first week in the MBA program. Where do the students meet? Yeah, so you can use Discord. Okay, so go to the first section of the MBA degree curriculum, regardless of which one you bought, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. And you can join the Discord room to chat with tons of students all over the world. Yeah. Or what you can do is go to the first lecture of your MBA program if you're a silver student and join me in 1 hour for the weekly 1 hour Zoom call for silver students. If you're gold, platinum, or diamond, it's 3 hours. Yeah. And if you're platinum or diamond, you also get one-on-ones. Thank you. All right, moving on to another question from us, which is, why is the more you run and achieve humbly, the more restless you become, the more the race to oblivion? How do you keep your head straight and grounded? Yeah. A couple things. Number one, you have to take 1 day off a week. Now, our forefathers since the beginning of time have told us, rest 1 day. Different religions, it's different days. For me, as a Christian, I take Sunday off. That's my day of church and rest. And on that day, I don't do any emails. I don't check customers. I do nothing except reconnect with my 3 wonderful kids when they're in town. And Matthew's coming home from university tomorrow. I can't wait to see him. I miss him so much. And I reconnect my wife as well. And, watch TV, go golfing, whatever. Play GTA 6 when it comes out. And y'all know when GTA 6 comes out later this year, which it's true now, you're not going to see me for a while. But you got to just decompress. And I promise you, even if you're totally stressed and you don't have enough time to take time off, you do. Because Monday is my most productive day of the week by a mile because I'm well rested. You also have to take your breaks as well. And Manas, you're in the silver MBA. I want you to go to the orientation lecture. The first personal growth lecture, I give you a 1-pager. And this will help you accomplish and schedule more to do every day. If you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. Yeah. And that's why when you go on vacation or you're not working, for some reason, we don't have time to go to the gym. Stay busy. Okay, and think long term. All right, moving on to Newfont, who wrote, a coworker highly praised your courses. Thank you. And I'm here to do some due diligence before committing. So far, so good. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah. I do have to warn you, though. My dad humor is terrible, but that's okay. There's a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. I teach from my heart. Okay, moving on to Manas, who wrote, will Canada be as open to immigrants as it was for the next 10 years? Asking, like, conservatives hate immigrants for some reason. I don't know. They might be right, but immigrants add value most times. Yeah, I think Canada has allowed. So first of all, I'm a proponent of immigration. Right, it's a great long-term strategy to help a country and be more diverse. My dad immigrated from Egypt, and my mom's dad is Lebanese, and my wife, if you're curious, Palestinian and Greek. Right, so we're all the products of immigrants. I'm an immigrant to the United States. However, the Trudeau administration, of which I'm not a fan, as you know, allowed way too many people in over the past couple of years. As a result, housing prices in Canada are higher than the United States, despite the fact that disposable income per capita in Canada is way below the United States. So too many people were let in. I believe in immigration longer term, but not too much to, increase the price of housing and shelter and all that stuff. A lot of Canadians are pissed off. Yeah. And no, Canada will never be part of the United States. Yeah. Although we love America. Yeah. All right. All right. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. P Hats, and I read every comment and every single question here, always. Yeah. So P Hats wrote, "Hey Chris, I hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you. Likewise. One question. I've started experimenting with day trading 1 week ago. How do you recommend getting started to learn and not get lost?" Yeah. I'm going to get down on my knees because I care. Okay. Let me change camera angle so you can see this 53-year-old man-child down here. Please, I'm fucking begging you. Don't day trade. It'll all end badly. I promise you. There's a reason we can't. There's a reason we can't name a single successful day trader that's made money in the long run, because they don't exist. So every single month there's 20 weekdays, meaning 20 days in which the markets are open. And stocks go up and down in a short amount of time for random crap outside of our control. We get fooled by randomness. Stocks can go up or down based on what a political leader like Trump or Putin says. Stocks can go up or down based on unemployment results or inflation fears. Stocks can go up or down based on the earnings report of one company like Tesla, for example. You can't make money like that. Please be long-term focused. And I say this with love in my heart. And I know I upset a lot of people about this when I mention this, okay? It does not work. And if you want to learn more about that, you can always just go to my YouTube page and do a search on day trading. And actually, I'll show you exactly what video to watch because I don't want you to lose your shirt, okay? All right, so give me 1 second here. Right here. Why day trading does not work. And I had a lot of haters on this one, let me tell you, but I don't care. I want to help people, right? So you can watch this video here. I have fun editing it. But you will never make money that way. I promise you. You have to think long term, okay? You have to think long term. And again, we've all made the cardinal sin of owning a stock and selling it because, look, it went down a little bit. And now it's up here. Just think long term. The longer the view, the wiser the intention. And there's a misconception that top hedge funds are day traders. They're not. The best hedge funds think long term, 1, 2, 3 year bets, even if they don't hold them for that long. That's how they think. You have to think like that as well. I promise you, do not day trade. Day trading is like going into a casino. And the worst thing that can happen to you is the first time you walk into a casino, you bet a little bit of money and you make money. That's bad. Because you think it's repeatable. It's not. It's not. Think long term. I promise you, you will make way more money in the long run. And in my MBA degree program, I teach you how to be a long-term investor as well, particularly with my 100-step investment research template here. So we do qualitative research, quantitative research, financial research, right? There's 100 steps. You answer tons of questions. And what comes out of this is a 1-page executive summary that you can bring and put on the back of your resume to your informational meetings or send the PDF to people you're interviewing with. What also comes out of this is a massive 150-page due diligence report you see right here, as well as a massive investment research dashboard. Take my logo off and use it as your own. Yeah. Think long term. I promise you'll make more money. And I say everything with love in my heart. I know it's tempting to trade. I get it. All right. Okay. All right. Manas wrote, why are 100,000 baby boomers retiring every week? Yeah, they are in the United States. It's unbelievable. And that's why the price of real estate in Florida is going up a lot. A lot of people are downsizing from houses to condos. Yeah. And that's why the unemployment rate is not accurate. Because 100,000 people are taken out of the workforce, and the unemployment rate is based on people looking for work. So why are 100,000 baby boomers retiring every week? And are baby boomers richest and most privileged generation? Also, do you think bonds would become ancient with Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids 20 years? Yeah. So a couple of things. The baby boomers. So after World War II, what happened was there's a lot of financial incentives for people to go to college. Right? There's the GI Bill, which is brilliant, and then people had a lot of kids, and that generation has a massive amount of wealth. And this is very sad to say, but true. In the next 10 years or so, there's going to be the biggest generational transfer of wealth in history. Okay? From the baby boomers, it's so sad to say, to their offspring. And that's another reason to be really bullish about stocks and real estate longer term. Yeah. In terms of the younger generation not buying bonds, no, there will always be demand for bonds, right? So bonds are lower risk investments, right? So you can buy treasury bills, which is it's basically a 1 year or less bond for the United States government. And this is what it looks like here. The very last company on the planet to go bankrupt would be the U.S. government. It's true. This is the lowest risk investment you can make, right? And so a lot of people like to own treasury bills, if they need the cash in the next couple of years. And that's why a lot of big companies on their balance sheet and assets, they'll have cash and short-term investments. Short-term investments quite often are treasuries because they have slightly higher yield, return, interest rate than keeping money in the bank. Now, an old school private wealth management school of thought is this. Take 100 minus your age, and that will explain how much you should put into bonds, AAA rated bonds, okay? So if you're 100 and you deduct 75, all right, that means that 25% of your portfolio can be in riskier stocks like growth stocks, but 75% should be in lower risk bonds or high dividend yielding stocks that are part of the Dow 30. Yeah. By the same token, if you're 20 years old, 100 minus 20, I think I screwed the math up, or did I? 100 minus 20 is 80. That means 80% of your investment can be in growth stocks, 20% in AAA rated bonds, because you have more time to make your money back if you mess up. And that's old school because a lot of people are going to live to way over 100 years old. I mean, for God's sake, you've got Warren Buffett, who's about 100 and he's still with it. It's incredible. Yeah. All right. Next up, Boss SMG wrote, hey, Chris, I'm thinking of writing articles about AI, but I'm not an expert in it. What do you recommend? Thank you. You can always do your own research. It's easy, right? And you can use, a silly thing to say, but you can use AI, meaning DeepSeek or ChatGPT, etc., to do research on an article. You can even ask them to write the outline of your article. You want to write yourself, though, for copyright reasons. But it's a lot easier than you think to do research. Yeah. And what I love to do is I love to use DeepSeek while you can. I think it's going to be made illegal eventually. Talk about that if you want to. But I love to use DeepSeek as well as ChatGPT to explain stuff in simple terms. So watch this. Explain credit default swaps and the 2008 crisis to a 13-year-old. Be brief. Use basketball reference and Michael Jordan, who is better, of course, than LeBron James. Okay. And right here, you'll find that, okay, here we go. Imagine you and your friends are playing basketball and you bet on who will win. A credit default swap is like a bet on whether a player or a team will fail to score. In real life, it's a bet on whether a company or a bank will fail to pay its debt. Now, in 2008, banks were making risky bets, yada, yada, yada. Where's the Michael Jordan thing here? Yeah. Okay, they thought they would never lose, just like thinking Michael Jordan, the GOAT, better than LeBron James, by the way, very good DeepSeek, would never miss a shot, yada, yada, yada. Right? So you can start with that and use simple analogies as well. And that could really help you to articulate complex topics in a fun way. Now, when you write articles on LinkedIn or anywhere, never write more than 600 words and never have more than 3 sentences per paragraph. And I have my own column in Forbes magazine. And years ago on the side, I had my own column, I think it was in Inc. magazine. And my editor told me, Chris, stop trying to write like you write for The Economist. I want you to write at an 8th grade level. Always. Think of a total addressable market as bigger. Now, what's more important than the content of your articles is the picture and the title. Mr. Beast, before he makes a video, before he even scripts it, he comes up with a thumbnail and the title. It's a different way to think. Okay. All right. Next up, Tommy wrote, would you say that finance/investment knowledge is a secret superpower and a skill that leads to many opportunities? Why or why not? Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that these professional money managers on Wall Street, the hedge funds, mutual funds, etc., we think they have more access to information than we do. That's not the case. The second information comes out on sec.gov or a press release, you and I, by law, have access to the same information at the same time. And that's part of what's called Regulation FD, which disgraced former governor, who Paul Giamatti is based on in billions, Elliot Spitzer, came up with it around 2002. Regulation FD means fair disclosure. Fair disclosure means that you and I get access to the same information at the same time as professional money managers do. And in my MBA degree program, I teach you how professional money managers invest as well. And there's no reason you can't outperform them. Okay. Moving on to Sanjay, who wrote, hey, Chris, it's Sanjay again. How are you? Lots of love from India. Thank you. Lots of love from the Bay Area. I'm struggling with group discussions in my job interviews. I failed 2 interviews in a row. Any tips? Yeah. So I need to know a little bit more about what you said in order for me to be able to help you. What you can do is, if you're in the Silver MBA program, what you can do is you can actually join me for a 1-hour Zoom meeting in 45 minutes, and I could interview you and help you. If you're in gold, platinum, or diamond, it's 3 hours today. Or if you're a platinum, diamond, book a one-on-one with me. Now, I'm going to provide you with a couple of crutches. Okay. And whenever I answer questions, I try to answer them generically on this call to apply to everybody. This is how you buy time, okay, in order to answer questions and think on your feet. You use frameworks, or crutches as I refer to them. So if somebody asks you a question, you could say, that's a great question. Let me analyze that using a SWOT analysis, meaning strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. In terms of the strengths are yada, yada, yada. This is a crutch. Moving on to the weaknesses, I think the weaknesses are yada, yada, yada. And as I use these crutches, by the way, I'm thinking of what to say next. In terms of the opportunities are yada, yada, yada. And lastly, the threats. I think the threats are yada, yada, yada. And if you find that you're rambling in an interview, you can always say this, and here's a good crutch. And the bottom line is this, right? And whatever the bottom line is. But what I just did there with that framework, and I have plenty more I teach in my MBA degree program. What I just did with that framework is I helped you to buy a lot of time when you're answering questions, right? And you can also use other transition words as well, which you notice I just did, like in terms of, moving on to, that sort of thing. You can also repeat the question, etc. Yeah, but if you want, just join one of those Zoom calls and I'll walk you through how to interview. Now, in the MBA degree program, the first 5 or 6 classes, I cover how to interview. And I teach you many tips just like that, but much, much more. Yeah. And before an interview, just like before a date, I want you all to tell yourself this. Or before a presentation. Tell yourself this. I don't care. I don't care how this goes. I'm not saying be rude or disingenuous. I'm just telling you to be yourself. And if you're yourself, you'll do exceptionally well. It takes a lot of pressure off you too. Just be yourself, man. Everybody loves you for who you are. Think about it like you're about to meet with a great aunt or uncle you haven't seen in a while. Tell yourself you don't care. And I remember years ago, I was trying to get a job. I couldn't do it. I was a little bit too rigid and prepared, polished. So I showed up to an interview and I told myself, I don't care if I get this. And I was kind of just chill. And, we talked about baseball. We talked about the weather, talked about current events. Then they asked me some question about my resume stuff. I got the job. And that happened over and over and over again to me. Be yourself because everybody else is taken. And as Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. Tell yourself I don't care. And here's your homework for today, everybody. Get a piece of paper right now. I've done this before, but it's worth doing again, please. Get a piece of paper. All right. Now, get a pen, and I want you to write this down. I don't care about X. And I want you to do that 10 times. I don't care about X. I don't care about X. And then fill in the blanks for what X is. Like, I don't care that people know that I dye my hair. I've been gray since my 20s. It looks like a freaking toupee. It's awful. I don't care that I've got a ginormous nose and I run out of this powder stuff every day. Maybe I'm beautiful. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't care that people find out that, I don't know, I still like video games. Yeah, when the Switch 2 comes out, I'm getting it. Hell yeah. I don't care that people talk down to me because I'm a teacher. When I worked in venture capital and I quit to teach, people are like, are you coming back to venture capital or hedge fund industry anytime soon? I'm like, fuck that. I don't care. And we've all been on a date or talked to a girl or whatever, a guy, and trying to get a date. And you remember that time where you just didn't care? You're like, yeah, do you want to go out? Whatever. You weren't overthinking it. That's when it worked. It's a subtle art of not giving a darn. So I don't want you to care. I want you just to be you. It's therapeutic too. Don't you want to be happy? And don't spend the rest of your life thinking of, what are people thinking of me? What are the people? Who cares? They got their own problems, man. They're thinking of other crap. What a waste of bandwidth. The most successful people on this planet, they don't give a damn what people think of them. And again, I'm not saying to be rude or disingenuous, but just be you, man. Because your friends and family members love you for who you are. And when you watch somebody presenting on stage, if they mess up, they make a mistake, you tend to like them more, right? Because they're just being themselves. Be you, because everybody else is taken. Now, when it comes to preparing for interviews or informational meetings, I also want you to do this. I want you to look at every single line on your LinkedIn profile and your resume and answer this question. Tell me about why. And the letter Y. And the letter Y represents every single line on your resume or LinkedIn profile. Keep your answers short as well. Less is more. Yeah. And I teach you a lot more about interviewing training in my MBA degree program if you want. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Moving on to Manas, who wrote, CPI data, consumer price index, meaning inflation, was high with inflation at 3% now. And he wants rates to come down. Will he fire Powell and also install a new governor? Yeah. So what the Trump administration is saying, and I watched the White House press conference last night, which is about half an hour, always entertaining. And the first question asked was by the founder of Rumble. Right? It's interesting who they're letting into the White House press briefings now. But what they did was we've seen this movie before. They blamed the previous administration on inflation being worse than expected. And what Trump is trying to do, it's tricky because if he raises, if he puts on massive import tariffs, of course things are going to be more expensive. But he's got this drill baby drill mentality. And what that means is he wants to increase, and he is increasing drilling for oil, natty gas, across the country as well. And environmentalists hate this, meaning Democrats. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. But if more oil is produced, then that means everything goes down in price in the long run. Because plastic, metal, everything in my office was produced with oil or natty gas. So if you lower the price of oil, gas, etc., then the price of many things goes down. Think about tractors also. You know, if tractors are, I don't know, pulling wheat or corn or whatever it is, right? If oil is cheaper, then to produce the metal in John Deere equipment goes down, and the gasoline you use in the John Deere equipment goes down. So that's the answer longer term. But I think there's going to be a little bit of pain in the near term first. Yeah, and I think the way that Trump judges himself is based on how the S&P does in real time. And I don't think he would do anything to make the market crash. Because there's a wealth effect. The higher the market goes, the more wealthy people get. I'm not saying I agree with everything he does. I'm just telling you the way he thinks. And you'll notice that 2 Mondays ago, when we were supposed to have 25% tariffs on Mexico, as well as Canada, the markets were initially crashing or going down a lot. And then he reversed course immediately. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Mateo. Hey, Mateo. Matteo, I think, is one of my gold students from Italy, right, from last year, 26 years old, I think. Yeah, good to see you. Matteo wrote, "Hey, Chris, I want to thank you. Your MBA program has really boosted my career. I've just been given a new role to implement AI models in our company, which is my first time leading a project. Thank you. Congratulations, please." Yeah. Quick side note, I want to teach you guys how to get a raise or promotion. So there's a lot of people in this call, myself included, where we worked at a company or work at a company, and we look around and we notice that, hey, WTF, why the face? Other people are getting raises and promotions faster than me. Why is that? Well, you don't realize this, but senior executives in your company, meaning people that are vice president level or above, behind closed doors, they've asked many times. You will never get anything you want in life without asking. Closed mouths don't get fed. So how do you ask for a raise or promotion? Here's how you do it. Okay, and this is part of what I teach in my MBA program and so much more. So the next time your boss comes up to you and says, "Hey, you did a great job with this," they're going to be in a good mood, right, when they say that. You immediately say, "Thank you, and I appreciate it. Do you have time for a coffee?" Then you sit down with them for a coffee, and you start with this, if true. You know, I really enjoy being a part of this team. We've accomplished so much together, and I'm really optimistic about what we can accomplish in the next 6 months as well. That being said, I wanted to just mention something to you. As you know, it's very expensive to raise a family in the Bay Area, or wherever you live. And I want to provide my children with the best standard of living I can. As a result, I want to humbly ask you, please, to let me know what additional value I need to contribute to our team in order to eventually be considered for a raise or a promotion. Thank you. And whatever they say, you're going to write everything down. Write everything down. Then at the end of that meeting, you profusely thank them for their time. And if you're at a cafe and the bill comes for the coffee, you have to do this. Okay. I have alligator hands. I can't find my wallet. And T-Rex can't do push-ups. I've used that. Bad dad here. I've used that before. Sorry. Then here's what you do. Okay. 6 months goes by. And your boss congratulates you on a job well done again. You immediately say, "Thank you. Do you have time for a coffee?" Right. And in the coffee meeting, you start with the usual, if true. I love our team. We've accomplished so much together as a team, yada, yada, yada. Now, last time we met, 6 months ago, recall, I'd mentioned how it's really expensive to raise a family here in the Bay Area, and I want to provide the best standard of living I can for my family. And I'd asked you for advice on what I need to contribute to the team. And you gave me criteria of 6 things. And I'm very humbled to say that I've completed all of them. And as a result, I'd like to ask you, please, for a raise or promotion. Thank you. You have to do this a couple times, okay? Because they will come up with an excuse. They'll say, "Well, budgetary cuts, yada, yada, yada." You keep doing it, okay? It's like that persistent kid we have. Like my son, Dylan, he would say, "Dad, can I have a lollipop?" And I'd say, no. 2 minutes later, "Dad, can I have a lollipop?" And I was like, "Dude, I brought you into this world. I can make another one just like you. No one will know the difference." I don't say that, but I'm thinking that, right? Just persistent. Like a pit bull on a pork chop, persistent. We've got to be that way. Why do we stop asking for stuff the second we're 20 years old? Ask and you'll receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. Remember, closed mouths don't get fed. Okay. All right. Matteo wrote, "Do you have any tips on how to handle AI models in my company? Your advice would mean a lot." Yeah. So what I recommend that you do is the following. Okay. And I know you're signed up for the MBA degree program. Okay. So if you go to learn.harounventures.com, there's a lot of electives that you get for free, including the real estate elective. But down here, and go to the last lecture of your MBA curriculum to get these courses for free. Okay. So I teach you AI for investing in stocks. This will help you a lot. Okay. Also, complete artificial intelligence course. Take this, and then a Python course that will help you with respect to accessing AI's OpenAI's API, etc. for stocks. And then also there's an Excel elective somewhere. Here it is here. And I teach you Excel, also how to use Python within Excel using what are called, what are they called again? Tables? Main tables? Pandas. We use pandas, yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Tommy wrote, what are your thoughts on commercial real estate? And do you own any commercial real estate properties? No, I own a lot of residential. I'll show you though. So when it comes to commercial real estate, and if you're in the MBA degree program, when you take this elective here, the complete real estate course, you can either go on the primary residence track, the residential investment track, or the commercial investment rental track, okay? And I have you write a massive business plan about this. Now, when it comes to depreciation is very different for very different for commercial versus residential. Okay, so residential real estate in the United States, I think you can deduct 29% each year for residential. For commercial, you can deduct. You deduct over 29 years. For commercial, you deduct over 39 years. So with commercial real estate, you get less of a depreciation expense, right? But yeah, it could still be a great investment. But before you consider buying commercial real estate, take that entire course first, because I help you a lot with zoning, location, valuation, using 5 valuation methodologies and much more. Yeah. I like real estate better because you can deduct, you can depreciate over 29 years versus 39 years for commercial. Yeah. All right. Next up, Manas wrote, you built schools, fantastic, but are there regions in Rwanda and the Congo where riots and clashes happen all the time? Do you make sure kids are safe? And so your schools are as well. Yeah, so where we built the schools so far has been in very safe areas. Let me show you the schools here. Let's go to, yeah. So the one we're building now in Kenya is in a very, very safe area as well. Crime is not that bad in Kenya. Okay, and these are my students who are in my platinum program that are helping with it. In terms of Rwanda, it's in a remote village, tiny village called Magoo. And so it's very peaceful here. It wasn't obviously back in the early 1990s when genocide was a big issue. It's so sad because there's a lot of adults in this village that are missing one arm because of the genocide. But it's very, very safe now. Here we have government officials helping us as well. I think that's somebody affiliated with the Department of Education when we cut the ribbon, that sort of thing. But this is a very safe area. But it's interesting. It's actually morphing into a little bit more, I was exhausted, a little bit more of a meeting center at this point, right? So over 100 people can fit in it. IBM and Microsoft were nice to donate computers to us. Everything is solar powered as well. I paid for most of the building myself and the profits from what I do. But it's turning into a meeting center as well. It's really interesting. Yeah, it takes a village, eh? Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to take a very, very quick break. I'll be right back. Here's one of my videos here. Imagine a future where your financial security comes from properties that you own. Real estate that not only appreciates in value, but provides you with steady income that is greater than your current salary. Welcome to the Complete Real Estate course, the only course you need to build wealth through real estate. Now, in this comprehensive course, I'll walk you through every step of the real estate investment journey from scratch. You'll learn why owning your home is the best investment strategy that you can make, and discover strategies to grow your wealth by investing in rental properties. Now, in this comprehensive course, you'll get access to my complete real estate dashboard, which is a very powerful tool designed to help you track, plan, and execute your investment real estate strategy from anywhere in the world. And together, we'll use this dashboard to create a personalized business plan that looks like this that we can export. Okay, we're going to create a personalized business plan that's very comprehensive for you that you're going to create before you even consider buying real estate. Now, from understanding tax benefits and leveraging mortgages to selecting the right real estate agents, lawyers, and so much more, to finding the right real estate to buy and analyzing every qualitative and quantitative feature of the property, this course covers it all. And with many exercises and clear examples, you'll build a solid business plan and executive summary for your real estate investment. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or invest in residential rentals or explore commercial real estate, I'll guide you through every single step. No theory. It's practical knowledge based on my experience buying many homes and rental properties. And by the end of this comprehensive course, you'll have a comprehensive business plan and the confidence to make informed investment decisions. And no prior business or finance or accounting or real estate knowledge is required to take this comprehensive course. So join me in the complete real estate course, and let's start building generational wealth together. All right, next question. Thank you for letting me take a break. Next question I've got here is Akshay wrote, hey, Chris, amazing journey. Excellent. I want to know where we can get the Excel model for the 100-page report strategy, or one-pager, as you wrote there. That would be helpful. Yeah. So you're talking about this one here. Yeah. So you can get it if you're in the MBA degree program, meaning silver, gold, platinum, or diamond. You can go directly to EMS 4-2. And that's Economics Management and Strategy, semester 4, class number 2. Yeah. Okay. All right. Manas wrote, that's great advice. My mentor, again, when should you marry or date when you have enough financial support? Okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Don't be looking to start your life when you have a lot of money. Like, I want you to be happy every day. When I was younger, I remember when I was in my early 20s, I told myself, I want to make $1 billion, then start a family. Ridiculous. Enjoy every day. Smell the roses along the way. Yeah. You should never wait for love. Okay. Jimmy K, how are you? Who wrote, God bless you, Chris. God bless you more. All right. Moving on to Manas, who wrote, I love you saying that Canada will be independent. Seriously, I love Canada. My maternal side immigrated there. I seriously love you for being a real Canadian. You've pumped me up now. Awesome. I didn't know that. That's very cool. Very cool. Okay. Leo wrote, what would you say about selling covered calls? Yeah. So I teach that in a lot of detail in my options course here. Okay. I want you to be careful though, because part of that involves shorting, meaning selling an option. And you got to be careful because you can be randomly assigned when it comes to that as well. Yeah. But anyway, I talk a lot about that in this option course in section 3.2. Yeah. Okay. And I'll have to wrap up this call pretty soon. Okay. And then Vinny wrote, Takashi Kotegawa, the only famous day trader. I've never heard of that person yet. Yeah, but I'm sure that person's successful. Okay, moving on to Ake. Oh, it's been a while. Who wrote, hello, sir. Chris, please. Join the webcast after a long time. Missed this. Excellent. Good to see you again. Okay. Yaswant said, how do you start a hedge fund from scratch? And like an outsider. Yeah, a couple things. Number one, you have to have a track record. You have to work at other hedge funds. If you can, you don't have to, right, to develop a track record. Number two, you have to get a lawyer involved. So when I started my hedge fund years ago, I got a lawyer involved, a securities lawyer, right, that registered me with FINRA. I had to write a bunch of exams through FINRA. And then the lawyer set up an onshore and an offshore vehicle. And that's called a master feeder. Okay, so the onshore vehicle for me was California, where I was based. The offshore was British Virgin Islands, which is like Cayman Islands, but cheaper, but not as prestigious. And those two fed directly from a master feeder perspective into the hedge fund that I owned. The reason I had offshore is because a lot of international investors don't want to invest domestically in the U.S. for tax reasons. You never give tax advice. So, for example, ABN AMRO, one of my many clients, put, I think it was like 5 to 10 million in my offshore fund for that reason. Yeah. Now, when you create these legal documents, it's really complicated because you have to create what's called subscription documents as well. Your lawyer will do everything to protect you and your investors. And the subscription documents is basically 10 to 20 pages of questions for investors. And it makes sure they're accredited investors, meaning they have a liquid net worth of at least $1 million, something like that. And also, post 9/11, the Patriot Act was created. And there's a lot of AML, meaning anti-money laundering laws that go into it as well. Yeah. And a lot of it comes down to raising money. I've raised and managed over $1 billion in my career. I made every mistake there is to make, but I can raise money and I can sell. And I can teach you that in my silver, gold, platinum, or diamond program. Yeah. Okay. And I think I might have a video, my billion series, how to start a hedge fund. You can search my YouTube channel there too. Yeah. All right. Ake wrote, I've been working for my online SaaS, meaning software as a service, a company, which you wrote here is an AI image generation tool. It's almost done, and I'll probably launch it this month on Product Hunt. Nicely done. Nicely done. And if you're trying to raise capital, of course, make sure to articulate why your product is better than DALL-E. Yeah. I'm sure your product doesn't make spelling mistakes like DALL-E does. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, Cathy Wood, who's a great investor, loaded up on Shopify and AMD and Toast recently. What do you think of her as an investor? Is she a swing trader, more an investor long-term? No, I'd say she probably thinks more long-term. I've heard a lot of interviews with her on Bloomberg Radio in the past. She seems very long-term focused and very methodical. She tends to focus on fundamentals first, valuation second, and then technicals, I would assume, a distant third. That's the impression I get. Yeah. But never take her advice on what to buy. Never buy a stock just because Cathy's buying. Always do your own research. You're in the Silver MBA program in us, so you can always go to EMS 4-2 and use that 100-step template as well. Don't rely on me or anybody to tell you what to buy. And the worst thing you can possibly do is listen to an interview with Cathy Wood or Warren Buffett or anybody on television and buy the stock right away. We have to understand these are the best salespeople in the world, right? It's Darwinism. This is how they rose to the top. And the same thing with CEOs in any company. A CEO is essentially a good salesperson. So don't ever watch an interview with a CEO and then buy the stock. Do your own research first. There's 100 sets of criteria to cover per that sheet I showed you template a minute ago. Yeah. Okay. And then Sean, God bless you. Sean wrote, with love in my heart, I want to thank you for taking the time to run these office hours. Chris, much appreciated. Brother, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And set up a call with me, please. I'd love to catch up. Thank you. Yeah. Excellent. Sean lives in Toronto. He's amazing. Let me show you Sean's LinkedIn profile here. He's a good guy. I miss you, buddy. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'd love to interview on Sean on this channel. We can learn a lot from him. So let's go to Sean. Here it is here. Okay. So here's Sean. He's based in Toronto. He's an absolute expert on sleep disorder. I've learned so much from him as well. If you want to see what a good LinkedIn profile should look like, go to Sean's profile here. It's unbelievable. It's off the charts. Okay, you can read his bio here. You can also read his articles as well, where he teaches you how to sleep better using technology. Right, and I think I forwarded one of these recently. He just started his LinkedIn as well. Yeah, but this is a model. Here we go. He's fun. I love him. It's great. Yeah. But anyway, if you guys want to know how to make a great LinkedIn profile, check out Sean's right here. Do a search right here. Sean, it's always great to hear from you, brother. And my thoughts and prayers as always. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have Brad who wrote, hey, Chris, I'm a student looking to get into infrastructure project financing. Any advice? Yeah. I need to learn more about that first. In order to do that sort of thing, you probably have to be very good in sales as well as very quantitative, really understand finance, how to use Excel, etc., which is something I teach in my MBA degree program. Yeah. Next up, we got Beck, who wrote, Chris, what's so special about Bloomberg terminals? Is it really that powerful of a tool? Absolutely not. So Bloomberg, it's a financial services software as a service company, and I used to pay a couple grand per month for each Bloomberg terminal. Right, I actually use software in Windows instead of getting the old school terminals, which I've used in the past. So I would pay a couple grand per month for each of my employees. Waste of money, because almost all that stuff you can do on Yahoo Finance for free. Yeah. Okay. Ake, yes. Ake wrote Michael Jordan better than LeBron. You know it. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay. And then 57 Max wrote, Chris, do you recommend us subscribing to ChatGPT or any alternative? Yeah, use the free version if you can. If Sora, which is owned by the parent company of ChatGPT, meaning OpenAI, if Sora costs you money, and if you make a lot of B-roll for your videos like I do, then I would pay for ChatGPT. Yeah. I find that I like ChatGPT a lot better than DeepSeek. I don't really trust DeepSeek. Let me show you. Check this out here. Okay, let's go to a new chat. Okay, tell me about the 1989 Tiananmen Square incident. And I spent Tiananmen Square wrong. That's okay. Okay, we know this is based in China. Let's see the answer. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I'm an AI assistant designed to provide helpful and harmless responses. Okay, well, tell me about 9/11 in the US. And for those of you not familiar with Tiananmen Square, it's just when there was a lot of protesting. Oh my God, it goes on and on and on to tell us about 9/11. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really trust DeepSeek as much as I do OpenAI. I don't know if I really trust OpenAI either, to be honest. And so we all know Elon Musk is trying to buy the company and turn it back into a not-for-profit. When OpenAI was founded, and Elon was kind of one of the co-founders, right? He put a ton of money into it. It's called OpenAI for a reason, kind of like open source software, meaning it's free to use, like a lot of Linux flavors. Well, Sam Altman is a brilliant salesperson. He's the CEO of OpenAI right now. And before that, he was the president of Y Combinator, which is the #1 incubation firm in terms of startups before they get money from Sequoia, etc., like Airbnb did. He can sell. And recall, I think it was last year, the board fired him and then they brought him back. And we don't know exactly why, but something seems off there to me. And what seems off to me is, why was he let go temporarily? Was he putting profit ahead of privacy? I don't know. Yeah. But I really do think there should be government agencies that keep AI in check, because AI can do a lot of bad stuff. Yeah. And we've all seen Terminator 2. I'm not going to go there and say it's going to create thermonuclear war and all that stuff. I'm not going to fearmonger. But we need to be careful. I don't want AI deciding, from a customer service perspective, if it should talk to me, or if it should shut down one of my social media accounts because I said the wrong thing. I don't want to be governed by that. Yeah. Okay. Moving on, Manasa wrote, Steve Cohen did insider trading a lot of times, but got off big. Banks have insider info and use front running a lot of times. How do retail investors have an edge, by the way? Did you know BlackRock has AI called Aladdin, which manages 3 trillion AUM? Yeah. So BlackRock manages, I think it's closer to 10 trillion now, including fixed income instruments, maybe 7. I'd be surprised that 3 trillion number is right. Yeah. So if hedge funds have access to insider information, they're crazy to use it because it's so easy for them to get caught. And a lot of hedge funds will tell their employees, assume every call is recorded by the FBI. There's no way you can use insider information repeatedly and not get arrested. There's just too many AI products out there, like Palantir products, etc., that will be able to uncover pattern recognition of whether or not you're transacting on insider information. And the Obama administration really cracked down on this as well. A lot of people got arrested, rightly so. It's not fair they have an advantage over us. Yeah. And it's ridiculous because, sometimes you'll see a billionaire, somebody that's worth like 10 billion that manages a hedge fund that gets caught with insider trading. And you're like, dude, why would you do that? You have so much money. Like, you're already rich. Well, the reason is, once a criminal, always a criminal. And that's how they got there. Yeah. Okay. You wrote, although I know you said PwC. I think you meant PW and Private Wealth Management. is the best gig on Wall Street amongst most positions. But I've heard that comp is capped at $1 million for private wealth management and low comparable to, say, IB or PE. Yeah, the reason why private wealth management works really well is it's one of the only sectors in all of finance where you can, and by the way, private wealth management, for those not familiar with it, is basically you're like a stockbroker, sort of, but for very rich people. The reason why PWM is a better gig in the long run, because it's one of the only sectors in finance where you can work for a firm like a Wells Fargo or Morgan Stanley in PWM, and a couple years later, leave and take all your clients with you. Now, in terms of making money, you don't make very much at first, right? You're a salesperson, you have to amass the wealth. And the way it works is you get usually 1% of the AUM, meaning assets under management. So if you manage $1 billion, you're going to make, what is that, $10 million a year, right? And there are transaction fees too. And sometimes these PWM firms are a little bit biased too, which sucks in terms of selling products from the bank they work for. But in the long run, you can make a lot more money. Now, in terms of your comment on IBD, meaning investment banking department, and PE, meaning private equity, yes, you can make way more money initially in those careers, right? And a lot of people, a lot of my students, it always is what it is. They want to go into investment banking, but they don't know why, right? Because you make a lot of money. But the reality is, yes, you'll make more money than your buddies, but you'll make the same amount per hour that they work. But you're working 100 hours a week, and your health deteriorates. Yeah, it's hell. Yeah. Okay. Or it can be hell. Yeah. If you're not passionate about it. Never do anything you're not passionate about. Always ask yourself before you try to get a new job or career, why you want that career or job. Okay. Always understand why before figuring out how to do it. Yeah. And I've had students in my MBA program, halfway through my program, they've gotten jobs at Goldman Sachs working in investment banking in the associate program in New York City at the same start level as Harvard Business School. Right. I can help you get there. Absolutely. If you follow my methodology. And I say it with love in my heart. I can take my students to the water, but I can't force you to drink. You have to practice what I teach you. Yeah. But you got to be passionate about it. You can't just be chasing money. Okay, moving on to A. Carrot. I recently read about Nikolai Tesla, and I cried. I cried because I think our ancestors didn't used to think as black, white, brown. Tesla wanted to build a free energy source in the world. He didn't create thinking. He would make stuff for only Americans. To become great, you must love humanity. Yeah. You must love to take humanity forward. I want to do something great for the world one day. I'm with you. And speaking of Nikolai Tesla, I'm going to Belgrade for a wedding, actually. Luca Anderson, who's that AI guy I teach with, he's getting married. I'm certainly going to visit again the Nikolai Tesla factory there. Now, what happened with Nikolai Tesla is he had his own technology that was better than Thomas Edison's technology at GE, right? In terms of creating electricity or a better way to do it. But Nikolai Tesla was a good man, unlike Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison was a shark. And J.P. Morgan, the guy, Jean-Pierre Morgan, he founded the Edison General Electric Company. And he partnered with Thomas Edison. He found out that Edison stole Nikolai Tesla's technology. And so what J.P. Morgan did, Jean-Pierre Morgan did, was he fired Thomas Edison and renamed the company GE, General Electric. Yeah. But I'm with you. Nikolai was a great guy. Yeah. I think he died almost broke or hardly any money, but he wasn't chasing money. And I certainly respect him a lot more than Thomas Edison. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Mike wrote, hey, Chris, I really appreciate all the time and passion that you put in your MBA program. I finished 20% so far, and it's amazing. I hope I can join you today on the live silver session. I hope so too, Mike. Okay, Mike Almayala. Okay, excellent. I'll look for you. Go to the first lecture of the silver MBA degree curriculum, and you'll get the link there for the call, which will start in 5 minutes. I got to wrap this up in a minute. Yeah. Okay. Albert wrote, hey, Chris, how are you? I'm always great. Thanks. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to ask, what are the main skills for a trader, meaning market making, interest rates, or other types of traders, and how to improve them. I love your content. Yeah. Okay. So I believe that whenever you look to analyze a company, I'll show you one of my frameworks here. Okay. Whenever you look to analyze a company, I'll show you the executive summary right here. Okay. And this is just dummy data. You always want to start with fundamentals. Okay. Right? You always look at fundamentals, the competition, distribution, production, financials, management team, total addressable market, risk, etc. Then after that, Alexa, please stop. Then after that, you're going to look at valuation and value of the company. Again, this is dummy data here. Then way last, the third thing you look at, if at all, is technical analysis. Okay. Now, when it comes to technical analysis, and I do have to wrap up this call, I won't have too much time to talk about this. But let me just pull up some random chart here. Let's go to finance.yahoo.com. You want to look at the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. Let's go to first company I can think of, Tesla. Okay. But when you look at technical analysis, and again, look at this only after you look at fundamentals and valuation, please. But when you look at technical analysis, what you want to do is you want to look at the Relative Strength Index. Okay. And a lot of this is voodoo. And it's self-fulfilling. It matters because a lot of people say it matters, right? But what you're going to do is look at a 1 year chart here. So let's add some indicators here. RSI. Okay. So here's how it works. Okay. So red, bad, green, good. And I'll explain this in a second. So it'll make sense in a second here. Okay, good. Okay. It didn't update properly. Okay. But just what I want you to do is just look at this black line here. Okay. So down here, you'll see the RSI is 20. Up here, just look at this chart here, please. You'll see the RSI is 80. So usually when it's oversold, an RSI of 20-ish or closer to that level, whatever, then you could have a dead cat bounce, and that's a place to enter. Then when it's massively overbought, like the RSI here of 80, same chart up here, okay, then it could consolidate lower. It's a little bit overbought, right? There's that. You can also look at moving averages as well, support, resistance, channel formation, ascending, descending triangles, all that stuff, which I can talk about next week if you want me to. I do have to wrap up this call. Yeah. I know there's a bunch more questions. I'm so sorry I won't be able to get to them. But what you can do is you can ask me in a couple of minutes on the weekly 1 hour silver Zoom call, or the 3 hours today we're going to do for gold, platinum, diamond calls, or one-on-ones with me if you're in platinum and diamond. To learn more about my MBA degree program, would love to have you join. You can always go to HarounMBA.com, and then up here go to FAQs, and just scroll down and learn more about it. You can even book a call with somebody on our team to learn more about it as well. God bless you all. This has been a fun call, as they all are. And I'm going to end this call like I always do with a 1 minute life-changing interview that I licensed from Steve Jobs and the Silicon Valley Historical Association. God bless you. Thank you.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it, that's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.